Hello, my name is Charles. I work for the Democratic Odyssey, a decentralized, crowdsourced and transnational campaign calling for a permanent People's Assembly for Europe.
Hi, I'm Elisa, the General Secretary of the Young Europeans Strasbourg, which is a political youth organization advocating for the creation of a democratic European federation as a guarantee for peace, the rule of law and human rights.
A window of opportunity is opening in order to push for more participatory democracy in the EU.
In this series of interviews, we are going to find out how the candidates understand the citizens' participation and how they include it in their programs ahead of the coming European elections.
I think we can do and we have to do a lot better. And the first thing that we should do is really give young people voting rights. There's good studies about the fact that if you give 16-year-olds voting rights, that they will engage more with politics, and it gives also some power back to the younger people, because at the moment with aging societies, we have a situation where the closer you are to your death, the more you decide about the future, and that shouldn't be the case. So that's one way. I think the other way is also to really think about how we can bring young people in besides elections, and there are many ways to do that. Youth assemblies are one way, but for me what's important is that we also talk about meaningful participation and not just participation, because sometimes politicians like to take photos with young people but don't actually give them power, and I think that's something to change. So one of the 6 pillars of our foundation program is about citizen participation. So it's one of, if you want, the 6 most important issues for us. We believe that, as I said, we have to talk about elections too, which is why we are fixing the European elections. Elections are the crucial tool in democracy for citizens' participation, and we should really use them much better. But there are ways to engage citizens in between elections. I think one important way is to actually bring them into parties. We are a party democracy, so it's important people go into parties. But also, I mean, the ideas about citizen budgets. We have a councillor in Munich who just introduced that idea also to the city of Munich, for example, so that citizens have a certain amount of money of the budget that they can direct wherever they want in a more direct way. Yeah? There are other examples of how to do that, and we have many of them in our program. Yes, I think it's a very good idea to have a permanent assembly. We have seen that the Conference on the Future of Europe can help. What would be important for me is, again, to make it meaningful. So if we invite citizens to come and to spend their time and energy on ideas, it needs to be clear how they feed into our process here on the European level, be it in legislative work or other ways, but it needs to be clear. What can't happen is that we have 1 year, 2 year, or even a permanent assembly happening, and these ideas are just going to waste. They're not really considered. And this is, for me, crucial. Yes, we need a standing assembly, a standing citizen assembly, but we also need to make 100% certain that people know where their ideas are going and how they're influencing the process. I think it's also clear that I'm a big fan of parliamentary democracy, and that we need to make sure that we explain very clearly what's the role of a citizen assembly versus the role of a parliament. In the end, it needs to be the elected officials who make the laws, and so we need to explain a bit the relationship.